Malo le soifua Todd Miller.
Tofalava. Mr Speaker, this is a budget that I joined the National Party for. This is the budget I put my hand up to be an MP for. This is a budget that I knocked on 10,000 doors for. And this is a budget that I'm very proud to say I'm going to vote for because, Mr Speaker, it speaks to the National Party. Economic competency, better public services and being there for those who are most vulnerable. And, Mr Speaker, economic competency was throughout the budget that we heard last week. It was great to hear a return to surplus plan despite the global financial crisis, Christchurch, but in particular the low inflation environment that we've had over the last year or so impacting revenue. And to see the projections, Mr Speaker, looking out a 3% growth over the next few years. From a Bay of Plenty perspective where I come, it's great to be part of a region which is topping the regional growth at the moment at 5%, and what an extraordinary projection that is. And when you see that we have done 190,000 jobs over the last 4 years and plan for another 150,000 in 4 years, it is great to have a budget that is that positive, as Mr Bishop, my colleague, outlined before. And to see as part of that the average wage lifting every year to be up over 63,000 by 2019 and unemployment under 5%, that is competent economic management, Mr Speaker. And in Bay of Plenty, we are seeing that flowing through well with the record jobs, 41%, Mr Speaker, up year on year, 41% in the Bay of Plenty. And in the public health and the better public services, with a particular focus on health. Wasn't it great to see the additional investment in elective surgeries, which is really popular in my area of Tauranga, with more hips and more knees replacements going to happen in that hospital over the next year. And also, Mr Speaker, the $76 million to help hospice, Waipuna Hospice. I was part of that opening a few weeks ago. It's great to see that they're going to have an additional investment. And also in education, early childhood education of $75 million. And more Oars places, which I know particularly is going to be well received in my local area. Mr Speaker, in recent political history, when the country is on its knees, the country that turns to the National Party, and historically, once we have corrected the ship and helped families to get back to be more established, then the country looks to perhaps other political parties to look at the social investment. Well, that is not going to happen anymore, not after this budget, because we have signalled very clearly to this country that this is the party, the National Party is the party who knows how to get the balance between the environment for economic growth and to be able to then, off that encouraging position, be able to invest for families. And what a package that was. And Mr Bishop was right to be able to stand there and watch this budget being spoken to and seeing the reaction on the other side. They knew that this is going to be a defining part of this government. This is a defining package of being here for those who need it in their, in their hour of need, and they certainly do. And when Melissa Wall talks about the legacy of the government, she is right in one sense, that this package will be a part of the legacy of the government, but she is too soon to be talking about legacies because, Mr Speaker, we're not even halfway through. We've got a fantastic vision for this country, and you saw that in very much of what we discussed with respect to the budget last week. Mr Speaker, in response, I'd have to say the opposition's arguments have been very weak. To be standing there, as Grant Robertson and others do, and decry the surplus as being too low and saying it should be higher. Well, Mr Robertson, what would you cut? Mr Robertson, what would you cut? And you say the debt that we've accumulated over the last few years is too high. Well, Mr Robertson, you can't say that in one word and then in the other have a list the long as your arm of new government spending that you would then want to see. You either have to tax people to make it happen or you need to cut. And that's why on this side of the table, Mr Speaker, we've got the right answer. And to hear them go to means testing superannuitants, I mean, by all means keep it up. And I'd love to be part of a debate in Tauranga when the people of Tauranga send the message back to you that your vision for the country is wrong and our vision for the country is right. Mr Speaker, I support this budget.
Good speech. Malole Soifua Brett Hudson.
Talo Falava, Mr Speaker. It is an absolute privilege to stand in this House to speak